Let us welcome the Honorable Pierre, leader of the Conservative Party of Canada and the next Prime Minister of Canada.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. Sinyan Hao, Sinyan Poilievre. It is an honor to be with all of you to celebrate the new year, to join with Anna Roberts, a Member of Parliament for Vaughan King, and Jasraj Halan, the Member of Parliament from Calgary Forest Lawn, who is also a Shadow Minister of Finance. We also have Phil Lawrence, who is our Shadow Minister responsible for tax reform, who is also here as well. And then we have some other good friends with us, like Arpan Khanna. Hopefully will join us in Parliament at some point in the future. And of course, all of you, thank you for being with us today. It's New Year, which is a time for us to reflect on renewal. And we need renewal in this country right now. Everything feels broken these days. You know, inflation is at a 40-year high. We have 1.5 million people that are eating at food banks in a single month in this country. One CEO of a food bank in Mississauga recently said that people are coming to her to ask for help with medical assistance in dying, not because they're sick, but because they can't afford to live anymore. 35-year-olds live in their parents' basements because home prices doubled, and now interest rates are going up, making mortgage payments unattainable for the average family. We see young people, they're students, who are actually living in homeless shelters as a result of the cost of living crisis. Why is this happening? Well, the cost of government is driving up the cost of living. $500 billion of inflationary deficits bids up the goods we buy and the interest we pay. Inflationary taxes like the carbon tax has pushed up gas, heat, and grocery bills, making life more and more expensive. And now Trudeau and Singh want to triple the carbon tax, making life even more expensive for all Canadians. Enough. We can't afford to pay any more, and that is why a Conservative government would cap government spending and cut government waste to eliminate the inflationary deficits. We'll get rid of the carbon tax and the red tape so that our businesses, farmers, and workers can produce more homes, food, and fuel. We'll make it possible for your paycheck to buy you a good life again. We're going to incentivize the municipal gatekeepers to get out of the way and speed up permitting so we can build more houses right across this country so that our newcomers, our working class, and our youth can afford to buy a home. But it's not just economics. We see the suffering of everyday people. Crime is out of control. 32% increase in violent crime since Justin Trudeau became Prime Minister. His policies of easy bail are allowing violent reoffenders to go back on the streets right after offending and to commit new crimes. Recently, a courageous OPP officer lost his life to a murderer who had already been alleged murderer, who'd already been arrested recently, but was let go on bail and therefore was able to reoffend. We need to remove Justin Trudeau's catch and release bail reform so that we can keep violent offenders behind bars instead of having them reoffend. We see our streets flooded with opioids and heroin and other drugs that are killing our people. Tent cities form across the country. And the Liberal government's policy is to flood the streets with even more easy and cheap drugs that are resulting in massive increases in overdoses and increased crime. What we need to do is provide people with treatment and recovery so that they can get off the streets and into a productive life. That is the agenda of the Conservative Party. We believe that we need to turn this hurt into hope, and that includes giving immigrants opportunity to achieve their full potential. Right now in Canada, hardworking immigrant professionals are banned from working in their field by government gatekeepers that deprive them of licenses to practice. A Poilievre government would work to sign deals with all the provinces to get it so that within 60 days of an immigrant applying to work in their field, they should get a yes or no based on their tested abilities, not based on where they come from. That way we could have more doctors, more engineers, more architects, and other high-demand professions that we need. We have medical graduates across this country that can't work on their own field. Right now, about 40% of immigrant doctors and nurses get a chance to work in their field. The other 60% are banned from doing so, even when they are qualified. We need to streamline, simplify, and get immigrants into the jobs for which they were trained and for which they are in high demand here in Canada. So that is my purpose. You know, I was born to a teenage mother who was unable to raise me, so she put me up for adoption to 2 school teachers. And they always taught me that it didn't matter where I came from. It mattered where I was going. It didn't matter who I knew, but what I could do. And that's the country I want my kids to inherit. I want a country where it doesn't matter if your name is Martin or Mohammed, Chang or Charles, Steinberg, Smith or Singh. As long as you're prepared to work hard, follow the rules, and pay your taxes, you can get ahead, you can achieve your dreams. That's why 400,000 people come to this country every year. Let's rekindle that dream. Let's turn the hurt into hope. Let's make this the freest country on earth and give you back control of your lives. Thank you very much, and I welcome your questions.
So for our media friends, we'll be having some opportunities for asking questions. For now, if you could just ask one question and allow a fellow colleague to ask a different one, that'd be appreciated. But the floor is open to whoever has a question. Just please raise your hand and I'll, Joseph, please. Okay.
Thanks for coming to this week event. My question is that, can you comment about the Indo-Pacific strategy introduced recently? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, these nuts are very addictive. So, forgive me for being momentarily distracted. Look, I think the Indo-Pacific strategy of the government right now is vague and ill-defined. First of all, we do need to recognize that Asia is the fastest growing region in the world. It has, we have combined between India and China over 2 billion people. These markets are going to be very important for our economy, but we need to be clear-headed. Canada needs to stand up for its own interest, and that means producing our own strategic minerals here in Canada under Canadian ownership, becoming self-reliant in the essentials of the future economy, and that will mean speeding up approvals and permits for mines of lithium, graphite, cobalt, nickel, copper. These are the electric minerals that will be required, and we cannot simply import them from other parts of the world. We also need to speed up permitting and lower taxes on the manufacturing of electric car batteries and other essentials, because again, we cannot rely on the rest of the world for it. With regards to China, listen, I think we need we need to express our friendship to the people of China and our gratitude for the enormous benefit that Canada has enjoyed as a result of the countless immigrants that have come here from China. At the same time, we need to stand up for our own values and our own interests. That includes preventing foreign interference in our democracy. Foreign interference is never acceptable from any country, and it's time for the Government of Canada to come up with a real plan to counter that interference about which it was warned by intelligence agencies over 2 years ago. We need to stand up for our interests and our values on the global stage and not be intimidated. And we need to do that now. We also need to bolster our own ability to project economic strength into the region by expanding trade with the CPTPP countries and looking to other partners like India, for example. I think we should consider deepening our trade with India. It has been, up until recently, the fastest growing economy in the world. They have generally a free market with a parliamentary democracy, and India, I think, is a good partner with which we have a strong diaspora population that can help get us and our products in the door. So that's an overview, but I'm sure we can address more specifics later on. Thank you.
Questions?
So I have a question. So in the last election, so your previous conservative leader, the two leaders, the Aaron O'Toole and Andrew Scheer, when they make the speeches, they always talking about China, China, China. So that upset a lot of Chinese Canadian with the background of China, mainland China. So if you, to participate in the next election, we will take some lessons from your two previous leader of the conservative.
Well, I think we have to make clear that we consider the Chinese people our friends. Both the people who remain in China, the population in China, and the Canadians of Chinese origin. Conservatives share the value of Chinese Canadians, the values of hard work, family, tradition, and hard work. These things are what built Canada, and these are the values that motivate Canadians who've come here to be part of the Canadian family who were born in China. And so my message is one of a friendship with the people, and at the same time we have our disagreements with the government. And those disagreements will be discussed, and we will be honest and frank about them, at the same time as we distinguish between the disagreements we have with the government in Beijing versus the people of China and the population here in Canada who come from China.
Questions?
Yes.
How about the immigration policy regarding from China and Hong Kong?
Well, Conservatives are a pro-immigration party, and we believe that we should expedite the removal of the backlog. We have 2.1 million immigrants in a backlog right now under Justin Trudeau. The wait lines for immigration have exploded. And that means that families are separated, employers are denied workers, and refugees from around the world are prevented from coming to Canada and fleeing danger. A Conservative government will remove this backlog by restoring competence to the management of our immigration system. And we believe that people in China should have who want to immigrate here should have fair, fast, and reasonable treatment, as we had always expected would be possible for all Canadians who come here from abroad. So I believe in an immigration system driven by merit. The economic immigration should be employer-driven. So employers who want to hire someone who cannot find a Canadian to fill the opening should have a fast-tracked approach to recruit a highly skilled and hard-working newcomer, including from China, to come and fill those jobs. I think refugee sponsorship should be primarily driven by private sponsorship. Private sponsorship is more successful than government sponsorship. And finally, family reunification should include parents and grandparents who are coming from abroad, in particular to help with childcare. In many immigrant households, the families, the older generation participate in the childcare of the kids. I know that's the way it is in our household. My wife is a refugee from Venezuela, and her grandmother and her aunts and uncles play a big part in the childcare of our kids. I wouldn't be able to do this job if it wasn't for them. So we need to create a special stream to help families welcome parents and grandparents to help with childcare. So that's an overview. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Just follow that question. The amount of new immigrants come to this country this year has reached more than 400,000. If you get elected, what's your policy towards this amount? Do you think it's too much, or you need more?
Well, I don't think the arbitrary number is an answer. So, for example, in times when there's a booming economy with a high demand for new workers, you're going to have more immigration. When you have, for example, wars or natural disasters, you're going to have more refugees. And so the numbers are going to fluctuate based on the demand from abroad and the need here at home. What I want to focus on is making sure that when people get here, they actually have a house and they have health care. Right now, we need at least 1 million houses extra just to house the people we have now, and we need we need 2 million houses to accommodate the expected immigration numbers we're having. So how do we get those houses? One, we have to pressure the municipalities to speed up and lower the cost of building permits so that we can build more homes. Secondly, we need to bring in a stream of immigrants who have skilled trades in their skill set. That way they can help build the houses that they and others will live in. And then on the healthcare front, as I said earlier, I have a plan to speed up the recognition of credentials so we can get more of our immigrants working as doctors and nurses. Within 60 days of a newcomer arriving, they should get applying, they should get a yes or no based on their tested abilities to work as nurses and doctors. I'm going to back up 30,000 study loans so that immigrants who come here as professionals but need testing to get licensed can take time off work to prepare for that. And I'm going to work with the professional bodies to create a system for future immigrants to begin studying and preparing to license themselves before they even arrive. So as they're waiting to come here, they can begin working on their licensure. These are the practical steps that we need so that when an immigrant comes here as a doctor or nurse, they get to work in those professions. Thank you.
Questions?
No others have followed my second question. Have you ever visited China?
No. I've been to Taiwan and I've been to Hong Kong, but I've never been to the mainland. So I've never been onto the mainland before. So I guess I have been to China, but I haven't been to mainland China. Yeah.
Just one more question.
Go ahead.
Ontario is always the battlefield for any federal elections. So any strategy to win the voters in this province, which is crucial?
Well, I'm right here right now. Yeah. Hard work. We have to listen. I think the biggest issue is is people's personal finances right now. People cannot afford to live. It has gotten too expensive to gas your car, feed your kids, and buy a home. That's not acceptable in Canada. We used to have the highest quality of life in the world, and now we're following behind. People can't pay their mortgages, and they can't nourish their kids. This is unacceptable, and our party is the only one that will bring back the purchasing power of our people so that their hard work will pay off again. They can fulfill their dreams through hard work and determination, and they need a government that stands by their side, not on their back.
So the survey shows that your supporters are mainly the male, and you are not very, very welcomed in the female voters. So will you do something to win the female voters?
Well, I mean, I've been elected. You sound like you want to make a suggestion. Listen, I think that I've done a good job of telling people what I'm fighting for, but I haven't told them why. The reasons that motivate me to do this work. And that's really what matters. I need to explain to people why I'm in this. And like I said in my opening remark, I come from a modest background, and everything I have is due to the fact that we have a country of opportunity where it doesn't matter where you come from, but where you're going. And I want every child to have that opportunity as well. I want, we don't want a balanced budget just because it looks good on a balance sheet. We want a balanced budget because it will protect our health care and bring inflation down so our people can afford to feed themselves and improve their lives. We don't want criminal justice reform just because we want to be mean to bad guys. We want it so that our kids and our families can feel safe in their neighborhoods again. And that's why I am in this. And I think I need to do a better job of reminding people of that.
That will win the females.
Okay.
And do you think the Liberal and NDP coalition situation will stay long until 2025? And are you preparing for the quick election?
Look, we don't know when the election will come. We're better at predicting the past than the future, but we have to be ready all the time. You know, the NDP Liberal coalition is driving up inflation, house prices, crime, and despair, and we need to provide a clear alternative. And there really are only going to be two choices in the next election. There's NDP Liberal coalition of Jagmeet Singh and Justin Trudeau, who are identical. They agree on everything. They want higher taxes, bigger government, more expensive inflation. That's what they've delivered. And the Conservatives want to bring back your paycheck power, put you back in charge of your money, and bring home opportunity for anyone who's prepared to work hard. That's the choice that people will have to face.
So for the last two elections, almost all Chinese Canadian candidates lost. Did your party learn the lessons and have a new Chinese Canadian strategy to win back the support from our community?
Well, we want Chinese Canadians to feel welcome in our party. As I said, we share the values of Chinese Canadians: hard work, family, tradition, safe streets. Those are the things that made our country a magnet for people from all around the world, including from China, and we want to restore those values. I think that is the same thing that the people in Canada who came here from China want to restore with us. So we share values and interests. We're going to emphasize those in specific policy proposals, and we're going to welcome a lot of newcomers to our party as candidates who will be selling the message directly. And so we want all Canadians of Chinese descent to feel welcome in our party and at home as Conservatives.
Just a simple suggestions.
Sure.
Yeah, this meeting is great, but it's once in a year, right? For Liberal, they do more grassroots activities for Chinese communities.
Okay.
They're going to have like Chinese New Year celebration in February. So what I think my suggestion is that do more. Chinese Canadian like Conservative Party, but you have to tell us what you have to do, what you're going to do, so that you can win back our support.
Thank you. And I will be attending a lot of New Year celebrations. You can count on it. Count on it.
So my next question, sorry, I've got tons of questions before I come.
Yeah.
So I think you will be the one that most likely to win for the next election. That means you have a great chance to become Prime Minister. So, but when you look at the UCP in Alberta, and also look at the party Quebecois in Quebec, there seems like to be a strong tendency likely that they're going sovereignty or independent. If you are the Prime Minister, what are you going to do? Thank you.
Well, look, I think we can reunite this country. Justin Trudeau has divided Canada. That's right. Now, how has he done it? By bringing in a central government that is too powerful and too bullying. They bully the provinces and dictate top-down solutions, like the carbon tax. So one of the reasons Alberta is upset is because this carbon tax is driving up the cost of living for the people and driving jobs and opportunity away from that province. I would get rid of the carbon tax. Second problem is that Trudeau is blocking energy development here in Canada. He has killed 2 pipelines, countless individual energy projects. There were 15 natural gas terminals proposed when Trudeau took office. 0 have been built. That means that the rest of the world has to get their natural gas from Russia and Qatar. We want that energy to come from clean Canadian production. And that's what people in Alberta want as well. So I'm going to remove the government red tape, protect our environment, consult First Nations, but get things built in this country. I'm also going to give more independence and self-reliant opportunities to our entrepreneurs so that they can start businesses without the federal government standing in their way. And finally, I will respect the jurisdictions of the provinces so that they can make decisions for their local population without the federal government dictating from above. Whenever we have taken that approach of letting our provinces have more control over their own decisions, the result is a more united Canada. Whenever you have the federal government dictating from the top, we get more divisions, and that's what we have after 7 years of Trudeau.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Here, here.
I think we have time for one more question, if anyone is interested.
Yeah, Pierre, what is the Conservatives' position on the Ukrainian war? I think in the U.S., the Republican Party, a lot of the Republican Party are more Putin people than they are Ukrainian people. So, are you going to continue to help fund the Ukrainians in the war, or?
We do believe in supporting Ukraine against the unprovoked invasion by Russia, and that includes providing armaments, imposing sanctions on rogue Russian actors and on the Russian government. It also means accelerating energy projects that can break European dependence on Putin to turn dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people in this country. The Germans came here, the German Chancellor came here looking for natural gas, and Trudeau basically sent him home empty-handed and said, one day we'll send you shiploads of hydrogen, which is a nice idea. Maybe it will be the future, but it's not the present. We need to get natural gas liquefied here in Canada, send it to Europe. Instead, the Europeans are now having to go to Qatar and the US. The Americans have had a huge explosion of natural gas exports. We have no overseas exports of direct natural gas from Canada. So we're going to provide energy to the Europeans. They no longer have to fund Putin's war to heat their homes. Yeah.
I like your position on the oil and the gas.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim.
Awesome, thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
等一下，我